Okay, so I am finger combing my hair because I just barely blow dried it a little bit before I sat down to do this video. I don't have that much sunlight left of the day, but it's at least not dark. It's like almost 6 o'clock actually, and I'm kind of really impressed by how much light there is here. And so tomorrow I think I'm going to give myself a haircut, but today, right before this, I highlighted my hair. The last time I did that was when I was with you guys. We highlighted my hair together, and it was right before my date with Ghost Guy. So that was the last time I did it. I just did the same sections that I did in that video. If you want to watch that, click somewhere over there. So this is how my hair turned out this time. I did about 10 or 12 foils, and I think it only took me like an hour, and I think the impact was really good. So I think it looks fresh again as far as blending and just looking nicer than it was. I had a lot of dark here, and now I have a lot of light. So it's perfect for, I don't know, I get weird about things like checking the boxes off of like my confidence boosters or whatever. Like, I'm not as nervous for tomorrow because I'm trying like this whole different strategy than I normally do, so like it's all thrown off my game. So I'm not nervous. I actually talked to this person like a lot on the phone, so like we've gotten to the part where we're kind of very comfortable with each other already, even though we've never met. So tomorrow will be the first time that we meet, but we've talked a lot. But I still want to, like, you know, do my thing where I feel the best. So I did my hair. I am trying a different method, as I just said. The method is don't pick a-holes. So this one's a really nice one, and he seems to be like pretty into me and nice. So we're gonna try that out. He seems to be actually really a healthy person, which I haven't always picked either. So we'll see how it all goes. But because it's like not my normal way, I'm like I'm not sure. I have the same desired outcome for this person, like that I do with all of them or whatever, but the strategy to get to this point was way different. So I'll see. I'm going in with an open mind, and yeah. So that's happening tomorrow. Last week I didn't make a video because I was traveling to New England. I actually did make a video in the morning, and I made like a breakfast get ready with me video, but it was basically just like this weird video where I just kind of like showed you how I make my croissant sandwich with avocado, and then I ate it with you, and then I kind of like, I don't know, it felt stressful. Like the whole filming of it was not like relaxed or chill. It was like, I have to do this to like put out some content just for like consistency's sake. And like I got to my hotel in, I think, Pennsylvania. I stopped because I was visiting my dad. The end goal was to get to my dad in Connecticut for the weekend, and beforehand I would visit my friend in New York City. So I was driving, and so I had a lot of time in the car, and I had a lot of, you know, thinking, and I was like, you know, if I am just creating content to create content, what's the point of that? That's not what my brand is. We don't do that. So I just kind of scrapped it, and I didn't really have like a backup plan because I hadn't really planned much because I film on Fridays, and I had a lot going on last week, so I didn't end up posting that video, so I'm sorry. But anyways, so last week it was just a lot of research for a new development that I might do for expanding my finances, and it was like learning about the pros and cons of it because it's kind of risky. So last week I really just delved into learning about it. Like, I would literally Google like blah 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 ruined my life or like the blah 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 helped me, you know, like get two sides of everything. That's how I do stuff. Most of the time it's not like a novel idea or approach, and I try to look and see if there's people online that have like it's totally not gone well, and like what am I missing, what's in my blind areas, what's in my blind spots, because like there's just like portrayed to you all this upside of stuff, and you need to know the downside if you're willing to accept the downside of things, of any brand new thing. So basically I just need you to know that last week was about expanding my financial independence and not making it so based on reselling sales. I did have good sales while I was gone visiting my dad, so that was great to come back to like having to ship out a bunch of stuff, but it's also, you know, a couple days later after I've been back home, it's kind of died back down. So I think the push and the need to expand and diversify is still there, so I'm gonna have to act upon the research that I did last week. So I did the research last week and I got sick. I tried to fix my pimple problem, and I tried to see if the Differin gel was gonna work, and I was seeing that it wasn't gonna work for me, like just the Differin gel and just the benzoyl peroxide. So the reason why I talk about that is because, you know, maybe you're thinking about stopping the pill and you want to, you know how to take care of your skin or whatever if it goes crazy like mine did after I stopped taking the pill. That's why I share it. And plus, like, how you feel about your body and your confidence is good to talk about too, as far as like a pillar of health or a pillar that you care about. And so it may seem kind of weird that I'm sharing, like, you know, that I went to the dermatologist, but those are things that I worked on. So last week it kind of backfired on me though. I called up my telehealth doctor and they were like, oh, here's some antibiotics and here's some topical treatment that costs like literally $95 with insurance. And I was like, yeah, thanks. So I left the topical ointment stuff not picked up, because to me, like, yeah, I will spend a lot of money on something that will work, but I haven't found my like magical thing that like actually works. So I've been using Differin gel for 12 or 13 weeks, and by now it would tell me if that was like my magical cure. So I had to escalate to, you know, getting dermatological help, and I wanted to do that, but there is a 6-month waiting list if I wasn't referred to a dermatologist. And so I was like, you know what, I have like really bad cystic acne right now that's very painful. I didn't want the scars to happen and be left with like holes in my skin or whatever, because I've never really had acne scars before. And you know, if I could try to prevent that by getting some help, then, you know, go do it, Michelle. So I was highly motivated, and so I just, you know, tried anything that I could. So I called up the telehealth people, and within the next day they'd prescribe me the stuff that kind of like was a little bit not right for me. And I didn't know that I was allergic to this doxycycline stuff, and I got phototoxic. So I had to go to the urgent care because I had a bad reaction to it and sunlight, and that wasn't fun. So I had to take care of that last week as well. So basically I just kind of like researched stuff, put a lot of the information into my head, and I had a lot of like mental math on whether or not this new endeavor was going to be risk versus reward, and if I wanted to do it, if I had the balls to do it, if I wanted to like really go in and make my money that way. And then I had the skin issue where I had to go to the doctors because my little telehealth doctor kind of led me astray. But to be fair, they were a medical doctor, not a dermatologist. But something good came out of last week because I'd set up my PCP last week, or a couple of weeks ago. My systems were in place for me to use them. And I think that's why I'm kind of building this story up or whatever and telling you, because number one, it's good to like take action towards stuff that you want to work on, and I'm kind of trying to share that with you, that I did take some action on some things. And it wasn't good action, but I didn't really know that at the time, like the telehealth thing. So I am trying to build my confidence by getting my skin back to normal, but also to try to maintain my body's integrity by not having to take the pill anymore. And that's kind of hard to navigate for me right now because I don't know how to do that right now and have my hormones kind of in balance and blah, blah, blah. So the actions that I took last week to have that kind of more managed was to get some telehealth stuff, and they led me astray, and then I got sick. But then because I had a PCP, I had the ability to ask them to refer me to a dermatologist, and I got really lucky. And the day before I left for New England on my trip, I was able to see a dermatologist in person, and they prescribed me a few things to try for 3 months to see if that would work for my acne. Because I think that they decided that I had like hormonal acne, which I'm like, no crap. But they put me on tretinoin, which I just barely picked up today. So that's what this is. And a very low dose of spironolactone and the pill. I tried to just get topicals so that I wouldn't be putting anything inside my body, but like systemically or whatever, but we're just trying this out. They kind of told me to my face that spironolactone wasn't going to work topically for what I needed, and the pill version was going to be more my solution. So I was like, okay, fine, you're the dermatologist, right? You've probably seen a lot of cases. So I am going to try that, but I am going to talk to my naturopath about actual root causes, but that's not until the end of this month. So I had a lot of health things, and I had a lot of new information stuff to like swirl around in my head last week, and therefore I was not well planned when it came to making a Friday video. But it came Friday, and I left for New England, and it was a great drive actually on the way up, and it was kind of like hell on the way back. I drove the whole way back without stopping overnight, and so I just drove for like 13 hours, 12 hours, whatever it was. So anyways, yeah, that's how that went. So when I got to New York City, I was able to spend some time with my friend. We went to Koreatown one day, and we went to hang out at a place that she likes to hang out at the next day. I was only there for a couple of days, because like that's as much as I can stand in like an environment that's not my own. Like I get really, really overwhelmed. I get very overstimulated. I don't know if you know this about, you know, my apartment or anything, if you're like a new viewer, but most of my stuff is very like muted. I have muted colors. It's just kind of calm and like very chill. And like the most pops of color are like on my fridge. And I do that on purpose so that my mind can just be creative and free to like reset and to kind of contrast and to expand as much as possible without like my environment screaming at me or like things kind of producing more stress. Like I have a very bubbly environment where it's just pretty chill, and like my environment doesn't impact me. Growing up, my mom was like very hoardy, and like as I grew older into my own like person, like what calmed me and what made me kind of just be able to work better in an environment was to have it the way that I have it. And I'm kind of a little bit OCD that way. And when I'm outside of my environment, I get really stressed out because, you know, most of the time I spend my time in this kind of environment, and I'm used to this, and I'm not used to, you know, what I grew up as a child with. So anyways, the whole city thing, like New York City is kind of stressful itself. It's like, you know, you probably been, you know what I'm talking about. Like there's a lot of people, there's a lot of traffic. It's like a very fast pace. And yeah, so just being in somebody else's environment for like a little while is stressful for my system, and not having my sleep routines and blah, blah, blah. Like I'm not complaining, I'm just like noticing how much it really affects me, because my own little routine is so dialed in that like I thrive pretty pretty well doing, you know, what I'm doing. So anyways, I think being honest about, you know, what affects me or whatever was actually a positive thing this time. Like, I was able to tell my friend like why I don't go and visit her, and I was able to tell her like very honestly like what in her environment stresses me out. And because I shared that with her, normally I wouldn't like do that. Like, normally I would just kind of like suck it up and just kind of like deal with the aftermath like once I come back, and I'm just kind of like a martyr, right? Like, I just go there and I kind of like deal with it. And you know, that's part of travel, that's part of visiting people, is you don't always get things your way, right? It's not like being at your own house. So like, you kind of know that going in. But this time she'd asked me questions and then I answered honestly. And I'm in this mode of like just being honest with people, and it actually was very helpful, because she didn't really realize that different aspects of like what was actually impacting me negatively every time I went to go see her. And this time she was able to see that with like physical evidence. Like, I wore my Whoop, and during certain times or during certain things that were happening, I would show her that my Whoop said that I was very stressed out, and she's like, oh, I see. Like, she's like, now that I know that, maybe I can accommodate better. So like for next time. But also she tried to accommodate like the very next day, like after I was honest with her, and that increased my happiness a ton. And instead of just kind of dealing with it, and instead of just kind of, you know, waiting for me to get back into like my little bubble, and you know, I shared a little bit about, your environment kind of stresses me out and this is why. And she was like, well, I'm gonna try to make the environment less stressful. And that made like a big difference. Actually, it increased my quality time with her. And basically that's just like what I wanted anyways. I wanted to have quality time with her. So she said moving forward she would try to do certain things that would make it so that we could have more quality time, and I really appreciated that. But like, they're not like, your friends or your family or whomever you're interacting with are not freaking mind readers, right? It's not like they want to like make you have a bad time. And like, you know, if they're at all good, you know, friends with you or whatever, they will take what you're saying into account. Sometimes it can't be accommodated and sometimes it can. But I learned that while it's uncomfortable to say uncomfortable truths, it's good to talk about truths just as facts. It's like, you know, I'm not trying to make you feel bad that your environment is stressing me out hardcore. This is why I don't see you more often. But like, once we had that talk, it was like great, kind of, sort of, because I think she understood like the kind of sacrifice that I was making just to like spend a little bit of time with her. But also she was willing to make some sacrifices on her end to make it slightly better for me, for what she could control. So I was really appreciative of that, and I was really appreciative that she was receptive to my honesty. So I think honesty is the best policy for everybody, but also honesty for like a purpose, right? So I talked about that with my friend Renee. Like, there's a good part about honesty, and like, you have to ask yourself, like, is it necessary? Is it kind? So don't just share honest stuff just because. So I think that there was a point to my honesty and it had a good outcome. So I'm anticipating going back to visit my friend, but also having it be a little bit better for me next time, and not so intense on my psyche. Because I come back and I'm like totally drained. I have to like take naps for like days after I've come back into my little apartment and just by myself. So I am really one of those people that like needs reset alone time. And I don't know why I need that, but like, my environment helps me. I get really overwhelmed and I get really overstimulated. So anyways, after the city, I spent some time with my dad and we talked about like plans for the future as far as what we're doing for the summer. Some exciting stuff is going on back home that I'm part of from like afar. And I'll kind of like be a little bit more hands-on as it progresses back home. So I think I am going to pursue the financial opportunity that I researched last week, and I'm going to start that, I think, this coming week. I'm gonna start the process of building everything that needs to happen for that, and so that will take up a chunk of my time as well. That'll be interesting because it just will be. Just know that the aspect that I want to share from this is that it's scary for me. I'm doing research of the pros and cons. I've made a decision and I'm going to go into it full force, but I'm also going to have an exit strategy. It's like one of those short-term things that you do. And so I have to be very clear about what I want from this before I start it. And so it has the potential to be really stressful for me, but also has the potential to be really great for me if I can use it to hone in on some other skills, not just finances. Like if I can tie in a confidence booster, if I can tie in a learning element, and if I can tie in just life experience, then this financial opportunity will be really interesting for me. But I have to pursue it for like a little while to see, you know, if it's really my vibe. So that's that. The thing back home is just like, I don't really want to talk about it because it's like an empire that my dad is building, and you know, that's kind of like his deal, not mine to like share. So I'm part of the empire and he needs my expertise for some things. And there's like all these different levels of plans, and it's kind of like the legacy for his children, and it's really like nice, and it's fun to kind of build with my dad. So I'm like a real builder, like if you get to see that. Like I really love to build relationships that are meaningful, and I love to build things from scratch. So speaking of building, I still do not have any traffic going to my website because I haven't put a lot of time into learning Google Ads. I wanted to get certified on Google Ads. So like all these little things, I have to have like 80 goals in order to like achieve like 4 of them. And it might be overwhelming as a listener to like hear about all like my things, but these are the things that I'm working on. And it's mostly all at the same time. And I really want to achieve a lot, but like I have to have a lot of moving parts. There's like financial goals where like my reselling isn't working, and so I need like a little bit of wiggle room with like this thing that I'm doing, like that I'm going to pursue. And hopefully the thing that I'm going to pursue is going to give me back breathing room in order for like the reselling to come back to its full glory, right? Like I'm still going to do the reselling. I'm just going to do this on the side and make some cash and kind of get caught up, and then continue building out my reselling. Maybe this new endeavor or whatever will fund my my Google Ads, because that can be pretty expensive to funnel your own traffic to a Shopify store. And maybe I won't need to really diversify too much if I can just get my audience correct on my Shopify store, and I can just have one place that people buy things from me direct. So what I'm trying to say is that I have been setting up systems, and you're seeing me work the systems. So I've been setting up skills in order to expand in this new financial endeavor. And I think I have all the skills and like literally all the equipment and maybe all the confidence in myself to do this at this point in my life that I might not have been able to at a different point in my life. And I've been building to this moment to like accept or deny that I want to do this, right? So any new thing is like that. Whether or not you have the confidence to follow through, or whether or not you have the actual skill in order to do what you need to do in order to make it successful. Because, you know, for me, it's like I have a strong desire to make whatever I'm doing a success. And the thing that I'm trying to pursue is kind of tough. I think everything is kind of tough when it comes to like money. There is no such thing as like easy money. So I guess pick your hard. But what I'm saying is I'm trying to use all the skills to this point, my systems that I've built. I used my system to get to a dermatologist so that I can try out some tretinoin, right? Like I tried the way that I was doing it, and then I built my systems, which is basically I've tried the free way of not having to go through doctors or whatever, and getting my skin situated. And then once I needed more help, my system was able to get me another level of help than I would have been able to by myself. But I needed that system in place. In my reselling, I have a system. I have like 7 stores that I sell on, and they worked on vacation. I sold like, you know, 14 or 15 things when I was on vacation. That was kind of a lot for me because I hadn't been selling anything really. And I sold a bunch of stuff relative to how long I was gone. And it was great. It was like a system that I built. Like when it works, it works. So just build your systems. I'm building my support systems. Like I've been spending a lot of time building my connections with my family. I spent even time talking with my brother in the car on the ride up to New England. We talked a lot about, you know, what happened with my skin. And my doctor's appointments and everything. We just connected. So like I'm building my like support system, and I'm trying not to like rely just on myself. And like while that is a great quality to have, and while that is a great, like you will always have yourself, so like your own self should be pretty strong, there are times when you need to like rely on a system, but you need to have actions towards building it, right? You can't just like have everything fall to pieces and then you don't know where to turn. Like I was very lucky that I already knew where the urgent care was, because I live in a place where I'm very close to an urgent care. I was very lucky that I had like health insurance that I'd signed up for. I was very lucky that I had all these things in place for when I needed them. And now I need to expand in different areas of my life, and I have the skills, I think, in order to pursue it and try it and try to be successful at it. And that's fun for me. So I'm also seeing the systems being built with my dad and his empire that he's involving me in, and that I might have to, you know, spend a little bit more time on this summer or whatever. The system that I am building right now with you, with the whole honesty thing of being authentically myself, and, you know, not really trying to cater to being the most liked, but being the most honest and the most authentic. That system, that practice of behaviors is leaking into my real life, and it really actually was beneficial because I was already comfortable telling uncomfortable truths when I approached my friend, and then I had a much better time once she realized that something needed to be done. She took action, right? So like all these systems that I'm building, like they actually have good benefits, and I think that that's amazing. So the system that I'm building right now of like my dating life, like I have a date tomorrow. I think I don't remember how much I talked about it in this video, but I have a date tomorrow with a person that's healthy, that's successful, that wants what I want, but like treats me nice. And the only difference is like, you know, the way in which I pick them, right? The only difference is like the method and like how I got to this point. But I am gonna go on a date with them. It's just not my normal method. And so my system that I'm building of like past experiences and analysis on how my past experiences and choices had, what the outcomes were, it led me to actually accepting a different strategy this time. Like this wasn't my idea, it was his idea, and he had to kind of convince me. So This was not normally something that I would say yes to, but I say yes because everything is there for it to be an enjoyable experience. So why not say yes? Be more open-minded. And so my system of relying on all of my past things, like my past hurts that I just had, like all of my past failures of, you know, the people that I was picking, what their personality types were. So it was just time to rely on a system of experiences, and I still want the same outcome, so I'm just gonna try it this way. So I'm gonna try a lot of things is basically what I'm trying to say in all this video. Trying a lot of things. New skin stuff, new way to make money, new way to date, new way to interact with people that seems more authentic, like in my real life, new way to interact with people in a more connected way, which is basically because I have more time to give them, because I'm not sucking up all my time just thinking about reselling. There is a time that you need to grind, and there is a time that you need to just be by yourself and decide who you are. But my system that I created when I was by myself is being put into action now, and it's kind of fun to see. So I think that that's what this video is about. It seems like I'm just babbling about a lot of crap, but I just want you to see, or I wanted you to kind of share with me the experience and the fun of like, hey, this is what's happening with all the things, and I'm feeling a lot better. Like, it's not so overwhelming, because if I have one bad thing happen with my business, I have like other areas of my life that I still have wins on. So thank you guys for listening, and I will talk to you guys next week.